Apparently, this is the weather, and I must go out. Which, yeah, it's actually raining. If you pay close attention, what am I gonna wear? Her and the her. Like, do you see the her and the her? Carve the her. Cha, I said carve the her. Okay. Okay.
Just pulled up to the house.
Are you getting that her? Just look at the situation. Where am I going? Guys, look, the bus is literally leaving. But I don't understand how I checked and it said the bus was gonna be here in 5 minutes. Oh my word. Oh, snap, snappity snap. No idea what I'm gonna do. We walk in, alright? Why is an umbrella? At least it's not like pouring, it's just, what do we call it in English when the rain is doing this? Because in Shona, kurukupuna. So, what is it doing in English? Because I wouldn't call this drizzling. I feel like drizzling is a bit more like, it's not pouring, but it's, So I'm just gonna go with drizzling at this point because otherwise, I don't know what else to say. Okay. When I tell you that this bus did me dirty, I literally had to wait for 20 or more minutes before it finally came. And that is why I blame this bus for my being late for Kevin. I mean, I was running late, but this bus made me significantly late.
Working all day. Can a nigga catch a break? Give a pretty brown girl her space. You can keep your dinner. I'ma make a better way. Hey, hey. Already got the world on me. Give a pretty brown girl her space. I'ma make a better way. Hey, hey. Better way. Oh, Mom and Dad's only daughter. Do I make you proud? Writing my life in lyrics to your like the sound. Seeking approval.
And it was just 80 pounds then. So fun. Like compared to you, the amount of money you want to spend on
Doors will open on the right-hand side. Change for the Bakerloo, Northern and Waterloo and City lines and National Rail
but then you
services.
must still get an appointment for when you come back so you can join the rest of the travels for the summer. Isn't it you're going to Paris?
So yeah, I'm supposed to. So yeah, I plan to still get the visa because also remember I've already got insurance and I've got. Finally, after over an hour and a half of traveling, we were in North Greenwich. It was raining, but fortunately, it was just a minute walk from the station to the O2. We were surprised that it was so full still because we were 45 minutes late, but so many people were there. So the structure of it is that it's kind of like a mall, right, connected to a dome. There were lots of people down there at the entrance, but for our entrance to where we were sitting, we had to go up the stairs, walk through the mall, then go down the stairs again, where there was still also a lot of people trying to enter. We also stood in the queue, and Honestly, it moved very quickly, so we didn't stand for too long. Speaking of we, I want to send a special and massive shout out to my colleague and friend, Annie, because my circumstances had led to me sort of having to go alone, but she was like, I got you, girl. And honestly, it made a massive difference and made my night better because having to go through all of the logistics of the whole thing alone would have been a nightmare, but having her there made it easy. And so I just want to say a massive thank you, Annie. You are the best. Unfortunately, we could not take our phones in, so there isn't really footage or anything at all that I could share from the moment we got through the entrance. We were not allowed any food or drink. I remember I had to give them my water. And then we went up again. So much going up and down, guys. And then up there, you could get some drinks and some food, etc., which we did because we were so hungry. There was this place that was selling like fries and burgers, fries and pizza, etc. And so we both got the fries and pizza. The fries were the kind that are, I could say, in the McDonald's fries kind of family. So yeah, so the slice of pizza would be slapped on top of the chips, and we both got margarita. I really enjoyed mine, but Annie was like, hers was too salty, so I guess she just got a bad batch. Anyway, we then went in, and oh, I was so relieved that one of his opening acts was still on. The opening act was quite good, but you know, I didn't come here for him, so I was just so glad that he was filling up the time that I was being late. And then about 20 minutes or so later, it was Kevin's time, and he came on, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I could not believe it. It's happening in real time. He is on stage, I am in the arena, and I am going to see this man live. So he came on, and he began to do the things that only Kevin can do. I will say, I don't think the performance was like the bestest jokes I've heard. I thought, arguably, actually, the opening act before him had more relatable jokes, but he just had himself, man. He had the delivery that only Kevin can have, and the energy on stage and the ridiculousness on stage, which makes you laugh out loud. So, did I laugh? Absolutely. And so, mission accomplished, right? At a comedy show. We really loved that. Well, I did. The only other thing I could say is, I don't understand why Americans have to have profanity in every sentence. So both him and the opening act were just swearing in between stuff. But at the end of the day, I think that's nothing new in terms of Kevin and in terms of a lot of American performers. The other thing that I picked up was, I think his jokes were very, stuff that he's obviously rehearsed, which is fine, but I think I missed the element where he interacts with the audience. I think that's something I really enjoy, when a comedian pulls the audience in, and that portion really just feels organic. So he didn't have that. It was just these jokes that are funny that he's saying, and yeah, like I said, less relatable compared to the opening act, just in the sense that a lot of the references he had were things that felt far-fetched and made up, like it didn't really happen, but it's more, if it were to happen. However, it was extremely hilarious, is what I'm saying. And also, okay, would I do something like this again? I think I went there and the arena was so massive that if I was looking at Kev, I could only see like his figure. I could see his figure. I could see, yeah, what he's wearing, but not in the way that I could see exactly what he's wearing. But like I could only make out what he's wearing because I could see the fuller version of him on the screens. So there were screens on the sides, and that's where you could really see his face, where you could really see his expressions, you know, because I mean, with comedy, it's a combination of the person's expressions and their words. So to get a grasp of his expressions, we had to look at the screens. Otherwise, he was sort of this very distant figure that you could see down there. So for me, because of how comedy is so, well, at least to me anyway, intimate, I'd stick to comedy shows that are in smaller spaces because I've enjoyed that kind of comedy where I can see the performer directly, I can see their face without looking at a screen. Yeah, it just really feels like I've attended to actually experience this person, because technically I was just watching him on a big screen. However, obviously there is that atmosphere of a gazillion people in one arena with the sole purpose to experience this person and to laugh together. That obviously adds to the hype and adds to the feeling of experiencing this moment. So I appreciated that and I loved that. But I think from a preference perspective, I'd probably prefer your smaller crowds and smaller spaces when it comes to comedy. Or paying VIP and being like super close to this person. I don't know if I love my comedians to that extent. But overall, honestly, it was a really great show and I did enjoy it. I laughed, and that is great. So at about 11 p.m., it was over. It was time to go home. And man, I'm just like, there was so many people. I noticed this as we were all coming out. It was just a massive crowd. This is definitely an experience I'll take with me forever. I'm so excited that I did this, and I'm so grateful that I was able to do it. Okay, so now I'm about to show you how the phone restriction thing worked. So when we went in at the entrance, they would have this purse open, you slip your phone in, and they lock it. And you couldn't unlock it, but when we were coming out, then they would unlock it for you. You are able to access your phone and you throw the little purse away into boxes over there. I was too tired and flustered and on mission home, bed, sleep afterwards, so I forgot to show what the train station looks like. But just imagine that very same crowd that was pouring out of Kevin, just pouring straight into the train station, because most people here operate on public transport. Fortunately, the transport is efficient, so we didn't suffer. And I was just yawning on every train. I was just yawning. I think we took 3 undergrounds before getting on to the main train that takes us to our city. And when we got to the city, unfortunately the buses were finished, at least the ones that go to my location anyway, and I had to grab a cab. We both did, and yeah, finally we got home at a beautiful 1:30 a.m. after a long day. One finally got home and got to sleep, bearing in mind the next day I needed to work. Actually, not the next day, that day. So I was a massive zombie on Friday, but I guess it was worth it, living a little.